Hi again. So for this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the ways that you can start or hopefully continue thinking about what you're going to put in your revision plan and what you'll focus on for your revisions if you're going to do them for extra credit. So hopefully you've already looked back at the rubric like we did on Wednesday in class for your original assignment, and you're thinking about some of the big picture concerns for the assignment. But it can still be kind of hard sometimes to think of what exactly you want to revise. And so this will hopefully give you some strategies to help with that. First thing to think about is that the goals for your revision plan and the goals for your actual revision, while they do dovetail, the way that they'll be graded is going to be slightly different. So for A4, you're going to be graded essentially on effort. You're going to be graded on whether your plan is logical and well explained, and your focuses for revision or for your revision plan pay attention to the major goals of the original assignments. So you'll get graded on effort and thoughtfulness, not on whether or not the plan would actually be effective. Hopefully, because you're paying attention to the original assignment sheet, the original rubric, your plan would be effective. But maybe say you decide to focus on a major concern that is a good concern for that assignment, but it's not the concern that would best improve your assignment. For A4, that won't matter. I'm going to be grading you on the thoughtfulness. So you would still get a good grade in that case because you've thought out what you decided to revise in your plan and you've explained why. So it's going to be about the effort, about the explanation of why, whether or not it's logical. But for your actual extra credit revisions, I am going to grade on how effective your revisions actually are. So in that case before, where maybe you picked the thing to revise that was a big picture goal for that assignment, but for your particular assignment, it wouldn't make as big of a difference as, say, revising something else, you won't get as many points of extra credit. But you still will get some points. So the max you can get is 10 points back, or a full letter grade back. This is kind of the pie in the sky goal because you're not going to do that extensive of revisions. So you may not do extensive enough revisions to bump your grade up by a full letter. If you were to do so, it would be because you picked for your revisions things that were really effective at increasing your meeting of the original goals. So it's not that the people who get 10 points did more revision necessarily than the people who get, 4. It's that those revisions were more effective. Although I will say that there is a chance that you could do some revisions that aren't thoughtful, that aren't attentive to the original assignment, and you will get a lower grade, or you could just not do significant enough revisions. Well, I say that I don't want you to do super extensive revisions. I do want your revisions to be somewhat significant. I want them to be noticeable. We're not talking about editing here. We're talking about global changes that affect the effectiveness of the assignment. Okay. If for some reason your revisions somehow made your essay or your assignment worse, which I do not anticipate happening. It's never happened before. But if that were to happen, I wouldn't reduce your grade. So you can't lose points. You can only add points. And if you do thoughtful revisions that actually make a dent in your paper, you will get points back. So first thing to worry about is paying attention to the original assignment sheet. The second thing is making sure that I can see your revisions. This is a big one because even though I will compare your revised assignment to your old assignment, if you don't mark the revisions in some way, it's going to be hard for me to catch every single one of them and to see the big picture of what you've revised throughout the paper. So use track changes, highlighting, or comments, or whatever works for you to show your changes in some way. Make sure that you save your document with those visible and that they're showing up in your submission on campus. If for some reason you can't see your submission or you're not sure if I can see the revisions, shoot me an email and I'll double check. Okay. Now, there's lots of things you could focus on, and like I said, your first thing to do is to go back to the original rubric and assignment sheet. But just so you have an idea of some of the things that might be the kinds of concerns you'll focus on, here's a sort of cheat sheet or a list of the kind of things that are involved in global revisions. So maybe you need to reorganize your content so your organization is clearer or more logical. Or maybe you need to enhance key features of the genre. What does that mean? That means that you're going to go back to your notes or the assignment sheet or the materials we looked at in that unit and think about, like, what is the genre of reflection? What did I do that didn't meet that genre? What can I do to meet that genre more effectively? Maybe you're going to be revising your thesis or topic sentences to be clearer so that you've got a claim and reasons supporting that claim. Maybe you need to add or streamline more transitions between paragraphs. Maybe you need to properly frame your quotes or paraphrases with more author tags or attribution, or you need to change your tone a little bit to fit the purpose. Maybe you need to pay attention to the feedback I gave you on the graded assignment, which you should do regardless. Maybe you have new skills that you can add to this assignment, that you can bring to this assignment. So that's where your reflection and your revision can come together to help you look at the portfolio as a whole. So I'm not going through this whole entire list, but it's a good thing to return to just to look at the kinds of things that you might revise. And remember, this is not a perfect or extensive list. All right. Now here's some strategies that you can try just as like fun ways to kind of try on revisions and look for things to revise. The first one is to assume a disguise. So if we were doing this in class, I would have everyone put on mustaches, but unfortunately we're not. But I would encourage you to don some kind of a disguise, even if it's just a silly hat or something you wouldn't normally wear, so that you can kind of fully embody this strategy. Assume your new identity as someone else. Imagine a new persona who's familiar with the concepts we've learned in CO150. So like maybe one of your other classmates or a teacher, but who doesn't know anything about your subject or the assignment. So they don't know specifically what the assignment is, they just know about the rhetorical situation and those kinds of things. Read your paper as this new person, trying to bring fresh eyes to it. Try to read your paper as if it wasn't yours. And mark places that you notice that you would have questions or suggestions. If you are unfamiliar with what the assignment was, could you backwards engineer the goals and genre conventions of the assignment using this example? What do you think those goals are? Are there goals of the assignment that aren't clear from your example? So are there things that maybe you need to manifest more? Does the organization of your assignment make it easy for the new reader, quote, to follow? And if you were your intended audience, so say for A1, you're someone who hasn't read the article, or for A3, you're your individual stakeholder, would you care about what your writer has to say, what you have to say in your assignment? Are there things that you would care about? Oh, we got cut off. Are there things that you would care about that aren't included? So think about things that your audience might care about that you didn't get to or that you didn't touch on, and how you could add those in to make your assignment more effective. So these are some things that you might focus on if you notice that your new persona would feel that they are lacking or have questions. Okay, strategy number 2, get some distance from your paper. So hopefully some of you already have a little distance because you're revising A1 or A2 and you might not have looked at it that in depth. But hopefully you have also looked at it in this last week getting ready for A4. So for at least a few minutes, put it away. Don't look at it. Just thinking back on what you did and on your feedback without looking at either thing. Create a simple TRE outline of your paper. Think about your paper as a whole and answer these questions. Was the thesis clear? Remember that if you're doing A1, you should have 2 TRE outlines and 2 thesis statements. rephrase all your reasons as because statements and supporting that thesis, and then answer, do you have evidence supporting each reason? Do you remember what your evidence was? Can you paraphrase it underneath your because statement just real quickly? Now that you've taken a break and you've created a new TRE statement or a new TRE outline, go back and look at your paper, and what do you think the 3 top priorities for your revision would be? So compare your priorities based on this TRE outline to your priorities when your actual paper is in front of you. What could the broad goals you came up with using that TRE outline look like in your paper? Or did your TRE outline that you made just now have things in it that maybe weren't as clear in your paper? Final strategy. This is just about kind of organizing what you're actually doing in your paper. And this is particularly good if you are planning on revising for extra credit. So pick some different colored pens or highlighters or a strategy. Maybe you're going to bold some things, italicize others, or you're going to make comments. And you're going to do one for each of the following: add, remove, move, and substitute. So just go through your paper and use whatever pen or strategy you have to mark things that you might change using this system. What might you need to add? What might you need to remove? And you could even potentially do this in the same way that you would do on a peer draft in workshop. So maybe you're going to add a little tag and a comment. And you can do this in Word, and you can add comments. And the good news is you can actually leave some of this in when you do your revisions to show me your process towards your revisions. But also, once you've gone through and done this, go back and make some notes explaining what you think you want to do. Why did you want to add this thing? Why did you want to substitute this with something else? Why did you want to move this around? And what are the big concerns that were behind those motivations? Would adding do something for your overall goal for the paper? Those notes that you make about why can be translated directly into your A4 revision plan. So those why answers can help you defend your choices when you make your A4 revision plan. So hopefully you'll find these strategies helpful, and you'll be using one of them before class on Wednesday, and come to class ready to talk a little bit about how it was for you. Did it work? Did it not work? Or is there another strategy that worked better or that you want to share with the class? All right, happy revising.